Hello, good morning. It is Wednesday morning. We're looking at the markets. Let's see what we got going on here. VIX is getting some bids this morning at 13% after the US-Iran ceasefires collapsed. And if we look at oil's getting a bid up into the daily on this. Oil futures at 430. How much was it a barrel? I think it was like close to 70, surging 6%. And we're seeing a global risk off wave this morning. If we look at NASDAQ futures, they're getting slammed. Energy prices sparking inflation fears. If we look over at energy, we're definitely seeing rotation back into energy this morning. And if we look at EURUSD, breakdowns plunging as regional energy shock is kind of raising the acute Eurozone stagflation risks. If you look at JPY, blasting past the 162 since oil is going up because that hits Japan's energy import dependent economy. And then if we look at the pound, sterling's facing intense selling pressure as the UK glitz collapsed under the weight of the energy shock. So we got a lot going on this morning. Let's check out our positions and see what we're working with here. We got into some entries yesterday. GKOS. Got in that yesterday on a hammer, kind of moderate volume as it bounced out of that bar. So it looks like it retested the July 2nd breakout bar. Have a pretty close target. SRRK. I really forget where I found this guy, but this is a good multi-top. Price went out, retested that for support on low volume, and then we got filled above that breakout, that little resistance area on the 29th. This, normally I would have had to buy a little higher, but we got in, pre-market sitting at close, so pretty flat. I don't like upper wick on the entry candle. Pre-market sitting at close, flat. Stop loss remains. QNT. We're back in this little recent news play. Pre-market's down below yesterday's close. We're going to keep the stop market or the stop in place. XLV, we're seeing some movement in that. We had a kind of moderate volume and decisive candle. Yesterday morning, it definitely bounced up, and we're seeing some buys on that. Retested the July 2nd breakout. So sellers came in, pushed it up. What was that? The second? Those are entry candle too. July 2nd. Microsoft, we got a gap fill happening. So we're definitely outside of this pullback range. It is drifting up in low volume and now it's pretty low. So I'm going to move this up a touch to just below the previous bar prior to our entry. Lowering volume as price rises, sending weakness, moving stop loss to below green bar. But before recent pullback, what day was this? Yeah, okay. June 30th. Okay, let's make a note of that before I forget. FTNT, we're just waiting for this thing to hit target. And now the price is below. Okay, we need to move this. Higher volume, technically it's absorption, but I've been waiting for this to hit the target. It seems like more sellers came in. I'm just going to move this guy up to underneath that breakout candle and just keep it pushing. Price target was just a measured move, so I mean, that's just a target we came up with. I did not, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, so I'm going to just lock in a little bit. If it becomes a scratch or minimal profit, then, we'll try to learn from it. CVS is a lower volume pullback as price continues to consolidate. I think this is looking really good. I'm gonna move this up just a little bit. I'm gonna move this just below the July 24th. June 24th. Okay. That way, if it loses steam and this is just selling, we can get out with minimal loss. Let's look at the volume. Volume's accumulating on lowering volume. I think technically this would be a good sign of strength. We're going to just move this up a touch. We have this massive indecisive candle on the 24th. If price continues down and tries to retest that, I don't really want to be hanging out. That would mean my thesis is not proved. I can try to figure out another position somewhere else. PBI. Okay, so we've been watching this guy. Lower volume previous day, higher volume yesterday, slightly below the fill. So pre-market down, below the close. Don't want to choke this. Yeah, this is interesting. Higher volume, but definitely less than the breakout candle. So we'll see if this continues uptrend or not. Okay. LIN. I don't think we have a price target on this guy. So we see some lower volume, definitely wicks everywhere. This thing loves to just move up and down. Money or lower volume, maybe some just selling into low volume there. I'm going to keep the stop where it's at. And we could be forming consolidation, so pre-market up a little bit. Let's see if this is either further consolidating or breaking down. And then we'll move stop loss up if possible. Forgot my hotkey. Okay, NTB. Okay, so we had that big, huge hammer. Now prices went up on lowering volume. I'm moving the stop underneath the previous low. I don't like that reverse hammer. Upthrust, most volume we've seen compared to yesterday, previous day. So okay. NTB. FISI. Okay. So basically the same volume the last 3 days, drifting down. We have a pretty wide stop in place. We are, within profit, not too much, but we are sitting pretty good. We're going to watch this, and it's either going to go down. The slow volume seems to be moderate, so that's like slightly higher. Yeah, this is usually a low volume stock, so just going to continue to watch to see what happens with this thing. I don't want to choke it, but this range is kind of like in the middle. I'm going to move it up just slightly. You know what, I'm just going to move it to this low. That's where sellers showed up, or buyers showed up. What is that? On the day that they had the biggest volume in weeks, long wick, and we'll see if that level gets tested again. It is a little close. All right, I think that's good. last 3 days price action is a sign of weakness. I'm locking in some further profit. If a quick test to the previous, when is that? That's basically, is that 26? If it happens again, we are at wiggle room, so should sustain a bullish resistance test. We'll see if that's true or not. CSX, slightly higher volume, pre-market's up. Okay. How far are we from break even on this guy? Pretty far, 53, 48. Okay, so we're seeing higher volume on this pullback here. So that could be some sell pressure. I need to just reduce this. I mean, honestly, if price crashed down below my fill, that would be pretty bearish. So I'm going to move this up to, I mean, if I move it here, that's, I'm honestly going to move this to just above break even. Why am I doing that? We have higher highs, higher lows. The fill is at the previous higher low. I could put it underneath, and if we have a massive liquidity hunt, it is what it is, but I think price has been retested because we have the higher volume. We had a high volume retest. So we're going to just try to lock this in a little bit. If yesterday's high volume pullback is a sign of weakness, then we need to just get out. When is this? Is that the near previous low? Yeah, previous low is right there. It's been tested twice. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It's an interesting one. All right, monster. Where are we at with this guy? Super crazy high volume, but now pre-market's up. So we're going to move this guy to below that previous low. This is, we're probably getting sold in on this, sold into on this. So I'm going to even further get this figured out. I mean, that's a tight stop, but honestly, we're seeing a huge amount of volume getting sold into yesterday. I think, yeah, this is not a good sign. We had a pullback forming on lower volume, and now we have very high volume showing up. But to be fair, previous high volume was sustained. So I'm just going to leave it as is on this one. I feel sellers are coming in to sell into this high and fade. So moving stop loss to a pretty close on the initial June 30th pullback. I think that makes sense. I like that. So we might be getting out of Monster today. Be pretty sad. We've had this guy for a long time. How many days? 41 days? Jeez. That's crazy. So, but when you trade daily, that's what happens. We'll see how it goes. And then lastly, PANW. Pre-market's down. Higher volume yesterday. Yeah, this is getting sold out. We'll move the stop just a touch. Yeah, we're going to be out of this today. Mark my words, it's going to get sold out. Yep. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. I think we're going to see some sellers show up. Pre-market's down. I don't really want to ride this out and see where it goes from here. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm up almost 50%. I can put this capital somewhere else. Because what do we have? 54 days. Yeah, I mean, this is good. So, okay, this morning, if you look at our runs, our scans, our signals, we had a buy signal show up on our spider momentum sector rotation. And this runs in the morning before pre-market or whatever. And you can see pre-market on XLE is just slamming 1.5%. So we'll probably do a 15-minute watcher on that. And we'll go from there. Let's look at PCSC. This is from the box scanner that we're building at Signal Deck. And I just want to call out this insane price movement yesterday. On the daily, you had the very crazy huge volume on a super tiny bearish candle. So non-harmonic. And then yesterday, we literally had a candle that went in, blew through my stop and well below it. We're targeting this consolidation range, and then blew up past our fill outside the consolidation range and closed within it. If you look at the 15-minute, that blow up happened in the last 15. If you look at the 5, it happened in the last 5. Utter craziness. So we're out of that position. That's sad, but probably for the best. Have a good one.